Hey guys, it's Cece, Constance Stanleys, and I'm back in you guys' ear. Yes, and of course this evening I am your favorite host on This Girl Vents on PRZ FM 109.2. How you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Guys, we've got a lot to talk about. I've missed you guys, and I wanted to discuss a few things. One of the few things I wanted to talk about actually was to do with, do looks matter in relationships? I'm trying to one of the things that struck me recently was that I was basically just watching this Nigerian movie. This is where this came from, and I realized that a lot of the choices that this girl was making, she's a very good actress, by the way, was just based on looks and stuff like that, and it kind of landed her like basically in marital problems, as Nigerian movies tend to happen. So I wanted to discuss that because I think there's an issue when it comes to aesthetics and relationships, and I want us to just kind of look into that a little bit, and I wanted to break down a couple of things. So for me, first question is, do looks matter? Okay, I think when choosing a potential person, okay, forgive me. I believe that looks actually do matter. I believe it matters a lot. Now, why do I say that? I say that because we like to pretend like it. Okay, no, not everyone. There are people who will agree with me, and there are people who will be like, no, it's all about personality, only focus on personality, and it's how the person behaves and stuff like that. But the truth is, there's so much more to I don't know how to say it. You know how they say your looks aren't enough? Same way, sometimes your personality isn't enough as well. And I know this is sounding so bad, like this is sounding terrible. And the reason why I say this is because we live in an era where a lot of things is absolutely based on the physical. A lot of things is driven by how we see things. And sorry guys, I'm just going to take off my jacket. Is driven by how things look and how appealing they seem, and I don't know, how do you guys feel? Do you feel looks matter? I feel like they do. I used to be that person that used to say, no, it's all about the personality. Then I remember someone asked me, like, this was like years ago, someone asked me, oh, okay, well, do you know someone's personality just by seeing them the first time? Well, of course you don't. So everything you do is based on how they come across, how they look, and you make your judgments based on that, and then you put two and two together. Then you say, okay, am I actually interested in going further and finding out about this person's personality and seeing if they're worth my time? Seeing, this is basically on relationships, by the way. I mean, obviously this is not for family, because you can't be based in family. Your looks in it, you're stuck, and you probably look like them anyway. So yeah. So, and this is the thing that I just felt I wanted to discuss, because it's come up and it really kind of like triggered a couple of things in me, because then I started thinking, is it shallow to assume that or to only look at someone based on that? And it's really not. It really isn't. I think our physicality, the way we look, is also another form of expression. I believe that when you want to make an impression, one of the first things that people are going to be looking at is how you look, how you come across, how do you put yourself together, how do you present yourself. These things are so important, and for example, let's say you're going for a job interview and you know that this job is a corporate job, it's in the corporate field, but you go there in ripped jeans, for example, and you go there with like Nikes that are bad. I don't know, you might know what you're talking about, but it's going to take a lot of them to actually look past what you're actually like saying to say, oh yeah, you made a lot of sense. But then they're going to be thinking, okay, but you understood that this is our boundaries, this is our dress code, and you decided to still come here like in ripped jeans when you know you're supposed to be in a suit and tie. And I think that applies to well, at the beginning stages. However, now this is the point I wanted to make. When like I talk about looks is something, no, that's not the word. Being attracted to someone physically is absolutely relative. It could mean anything. I mean, I was who was it? I was explaining to someone recently that they were like, you know, how does this person look? And I said, like, they look good, but I'm not attracted to them. And sometimes that happens. You know, sometimes you see like maybe a guy or a girl and they don't look that great to you, but the person that they're with looks like 100%. They look on point, and you think, whoa, what is this good looking person doing with this not so good looking person? But the thing is, a lot of the times, and this is not like, let's leave the personality part aside from it, sometimes, not even sometimes, everyone has what appeals to them physically. So we have what draws us in, what attracts us mentally, emotionally. We also have what draws us physically, and that is different for each person. Whereas like I might see, you know, a guy with dreadlocks or something, and I might say, it's not really my thing, and homegirl on the side might be like, oh, dreadlocks, I love that. So these are the things. I think looks are relative. So, you know, okay, but this is the thing though, don't just choose someone based on looks, obviously, but I do think it's a pathway to, or like kind of like an open door to wherever it is you want to go with that person. For example, let's say you find someone attractive and you haven't spoken to this person. You guys are just giving each other, you know, the cowboy eyes, you know, when the camera zooms in on the eyes, you guys are just eyeing each other on the side. When it gets to that point, you kind of think, okay, this person looks worth my time, or this person looks okay, or whatever the case may be, and I want to see how far we can go with this. And I think it's at that point then you say, okay, I want to talk to you, or okay. But in that looks part, this person doesn't have to be what everyone else says is good looking. They don't have to have, I don't know, what does the world say is good looking? 6 packs or muscles or whatever it is, green eyes, curly hair, plump lips, whatever. I don't even know anymore. It's what makes you happy, innit? But this is what I have to say, because I think what the movie that I watched was trying to say is that love is blind. Okay, let me actually discuss that now. I do not believe love is blind. Love is not blind. Love is is very intentional. Love is not, for me, before you guys jump down my throat, for me, love is more than an emotion. It's an entity. It's something that's in and of itself. And I don't believe it's blind. What I believe it is that it's unconditional. And by being unconditional, that means it's intentional. For example, let's say, I don't know, what's a good example? I don't like guys who grow their nails and it's too long, it looks yucky or whatever. This is no disrespect to guys who do that, by the way. And let's say I meet this guy and everything else is working out, but he has these long nails that I don't like. Now, there is still a chance of me to feel powerful emotions towards this person, and I choose to ignore the nails thing. And the fact that there is choice, and this is the thing I have when it comes to Love is Blind. I feel like Love is Blind is something that people say to kind of cover up a lot of mistakes that are being made before people enter into, you know, relationships, serious like relationships with other people. Love is not blind. A lot of the things that love actually does is intentional. If you didn't see it, don't say love is blind. You didn't see it. That's not love's fault. That was you. And usually half of the time when we see something that we don't particularly fancy in someone else, but we like all their other bits, what we tend to do is we weigh it, and we say, can I deal with it or not? And based on your own perception of things, based on how you see things, you then say, okay, I can deal with it, or I'm going to try and change it, or I can't deal with it, so I'm out of the door. So because of that, you are making decisions, and decisions are intentional. Okay, so it's not because love is blind. Love makes choices. It can either choose to overlook things, or it can choose to not overlook things. So let's not do that because I've seen a lot of, that's another thing as well. I can change him. That's another thing. Right. I've seen a lot of like scenarios, real life scenarios. This one is not even Nollywood movies. Real life scenarios where, and I'm very sure we all know one person at least who who believed that they could change a particular trait in someone, and a lot of the time you cannot. You really can't. So let's say, for example, we're talking about looks, right? Are looks enough to just make a judgment on someone? Let's say you get with this particular person and they look stunning, you know, they're amazing, they're so attractive. Then you get into a relationship and you realize that there are some not so attractive, you know, parts about their personality or their character, and you decide that I have the power to change that. You don't. When people want to make changes, they make them. When people don't want to make changes, they don't make changes. And a lot of the times we feel like we have this sole power of fine-tuning other people's core values or characteristics. Usually those things change based on like real, like hardcore experiences. Like for example, I've always been someone that I find it very hard, back in the day, I find it very hard to open up to people or to depend on people. Now, it wasn't, and I've been in relationships where guys were like, yo, you need to open up, you need to be more transparent, or whatever the case may be. And that didn't change me. And it wasn't because I didn't have strong feelings for those people. It was because it just didn't change me. I'm sorry. And this is how it is. I wasn't doing it to spite the other person in the relationship. I was just being who I knew how to be. And a lot of the times that's just what people are doing. And those things cannot just change just because one person continues to tell you about it. A lot of the time you need to go through a particular life experience that's going to teach you a significant lesson, and you will find yourself on the straight and narrow, or you can find yourself absolutely down in the dumps. For me, I learned the hard way, like, to be able to understand how to work with trust, how to work with being someone who is open, being someone who is willing to listen, all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't an ex-boyfriend that taught me that. No matter how much we argued or whatever the case may be, it was life. it was life that taught me those lessons. Life gave me a couple slaps and said, fix up, because I'm about to mess you up. And if I didn't fix up, that was going to be the end. And even by then anyways, I wasn't even in a relationship, and I had to make those changes on my own. So these are the things that I feel when it comes to looking at someone and using the Love is Blind quote to kind of like cover things. Please do not. As I said before, love is really not blind. We just need to work on ourselves. We just need to work on how we reason upstairs and how we see people, because if you do not work on that, you will make bad decisions. So whether you're with a guy that is very handsome, or you're with a girl that's very handsome, or you're with someone that's not so handsome, whatever that may be, or whatever the case, you will still find yourself in a situation where you need to meet with the real person behind the dimples, behind the smooth skin, nice sun-kissed skin, beautiful long hair, and all that kind of stuff. But again, back to the movie I was watching with looks. So I want to let me tell you guys an experience I had, right? So I decided, like, years ago, this is years ago, I'm righteous now, I was talking to this guy, and there was a lot of allure to his lifestyle. He was a footballer, and he had a car, you know, and I was about 18, 17 or something, I don't know, 18, 19, 17, I'm not too sure. He had everything going for him, you know. He had that life. It was just, ooh, like, if I could just tap into that, that is it. I am sorted. Now, I judge things based on how they came across. I looked at everything and I was like, ooh, this is for me. I didn't really want to work with the real person. I just wanted to deal with what I could see. I didn't want to go underneath, and this is also because of my own particular like issues at the time as well, where I wasn't someone who was very open, so I didn't understand anyone else having to do that. That was their business. And this is the other side to looks being important. Yes, looks is very important, but you need to be able to weigh it carefully. You have to be able to judge for yourself, because at the end of the day, that, would I call it a relationship? That's a stretch. It wasn't a relationship. Whatever that was, it didn't last. It didn't last because the truth is we were like oddly paired. It just didn't make any sense. And the thing is, I knew it didn't make any sense, but I was still working based off of, yeah, he's got it going on. I'm not even gonna try lie. He's got it going on. But actually, us together, we didn't have anything going on. It was not meant to be. And it took a while for me to actually sit down and say to myself, okay, this is not going to work, and I need to be able to think things out for myself. So yes, I do believe that looks is very important. I believe that presentation is important, but I also believe that as you're looking at that person, or since you've been drawn in by how attractive their lifestyle looks, or how attractive their face is, or how muscular, or how, you know, their skin is so smooth, or whatever, it's still very important to have your wits about you and be able to work things out, and do not become don't let your judgment be clouded by their looks only. So yes, I am saying looks matters. You can quote me, looks do matter, but also quote me and say, so does sense. Okay, looks matter, and so does wisdom. Okay, we need to be able to make good, healthy decisions when it comes to choosing people, especially now. So I'm gonna be 24 in May. Time's going quick, isn't it? I'm gonna be 24 in May. So if I'm let me use myself as an example. If I'm looking at a potential guy, I'm looking for a potential life partner, isn't it? So well, this is not for every woman obviously, but for myself, I'm looking for a potential, even if I'm not, I'm looking for someone who we can share ideas with, you know, we can actually be together and coexist and actually have fun doing that, and be able to speak on a level, and the truth is, I also need to be able to learn from you. You're probably going to learn from me, that kind of thing. So when I'm making my choices, I need to think about all of that. So I might see a guy and he looks great and he looks like he fits the part, and that pulls me in. Then I start discussing with him. Now, in that particular time, my mind is literally working like 100% overtime, because I'm trying to work out, where do I fit in? And I'm not saying overthink everything or whatever the case may be. I am saying let it flow and enjoy it, but also there is enjoyment in being smart. You need to be clever, because sometimes what this leads to, because of decisions that, you know, for example, if I go back to my example of me, like, you know, knowing this particular guy or whatever, those things do over time take a toll on you, because even after I wasn't with him anymore, it was still like now when I choose someone, that is in my head, like, okay, I need to make sure, I need to do this, I need to do that sort of thing. I need to make sure that I'm not overdoing things, or I don't meet a guy like him or whatever. And sometimes it's just too much to take. So be as clever as possible when you're making your choices. Look for what attracts you. And again, I have to stress, what attracts you may not attract me. So looks are completely relative. They are absolutely, it could whatever it, you know, that what's that little thing, the Notre Dame thing, and the guy, the hunchback, that's it, he's not the guy, you know what I mean? He's just not. But he was able to find, it's kind of like the princess kissing the frog. Okay, none of us really want to do that, but she must have saw some, I don't know. But everything is relative, you know. Well, not everything, but especially stuff like this is absolutely relative. But what I'm saying is, as much as looks are important, please understand that personality has to go in hand. You can allow that to lull you in, but don't allow it to confuse you. Don't allow it to just twist your mind into thinking that is the be all and end all. Again, love is not blind. It really isn't. It is very intentional. It's a choice. It's you have to choose. You really have to choose. And when you get to that stage where the person looks good, or you like how the person looks, but then you see particular parts of their character that doesn't look as good as they do when they're wearing that blue jeans or whatever, then you need to think about that. Don't allow just the physical be your ruler, your measurement tape as to what makes the perfect partner or whatever. And that's something that I personally am very wary of, because I'll give an example. Like now I'm at uni and I meet a lot of guys who have that going on for them, and they have that, you know, that I don't know what the word is, but they have that thing, you know, that, you know, they look sharp, they look good, but upon speaking to some of them, I'm not too sure anymore. And back in the day, that wouldn't have meant anything to me. Back in the day, I would have said to myself, okay, moving on swiftly, I will still be talking to this guy, I will still give him my number, I will still go out on dates with him, and whatever the case may be, and I will still push it further into a relationship and see if I can possibly twist or change or manipulate his thought process or maneuver him to think a particular way, when actually I can't, and that's failure. So what I would like now, even though I see that, and I see a lot of guys, because nowadays we have so many entrepreneurs, so many guys doing their own thing, so many women doing their own thing, and it's very attractive. But then on top of that, you need to actually look past that and see for yourself, is this what I really want? It's not every good looking guy that is going to be my good looking guy. Do you understand what I mean? It's not every good looking girl that is going to be your own personal babe. That's, again, it's, everyone has his own thing to deal with. So please do not let looks be cloud you. But definitely, my answer to that question is looks are important. But again, what I find good looking and what I think is sexy is not what you're going to think is sexy. I mean, between Superman and Clark Kent, I would always choose Clark Kent. Okay, I like the glasses, I like the shirt, I like the tie, and then on the other hand, seeing him wearing some red spandex with a cape, I don't know, it's not me. So it's it's whatever the case, even though they're the same person, but the glasses adds to it, like that geeky kind of thing. Fetish. I'm joking. But on a real, guys, this is my answer. Looks matter. They matter 100%. If you think it looks good, I think that is a leeway to become interested. I believe presentation is key. It's absolutely key, because it tells me about you. It tells me, especially if I'm looking at a guy, do you look after yourself? I look at your nails, I look at your teeth, I look at all the hygiene stuff. I'm not even going to try to lie to you. I look at all those kind of things. And when I get past that, then I really start really looking into you. I want to see how you think. What do you understand when I talk about politics? Can we discuss particular things? Can we talk about world hunger? Can we discuss like really tough subjects without it becoming crazy? And those are the things that I look for beyond that. What do you believe? Like, how do you see the world? What's your take on life? What's your take on just the purpose of life? All those kind of questions, I genuinely am interested in them, and I find out over time. And if it's not something that is suitable to my own particular longing or personality, then I have to forget about the looks, because there's so many different good looking people out there. You know how they say there's so many fishes in the sea? Well, there are. And there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of different species out there, and I'm very sure there's going to be a couple thousand that fall in line with what I think is good looking. So guys, looks 100%. I'm one of the people. I never used to be, not gonna lie, I never used to be, but I have converted. I'm a convert. Looks definitely matter. When I say looks, I'm not talking about, wow, look at his jawline. I'm just talking about, like presentation, like how you carry yourself. There's that, how like they say, oh yeah, girls like bad guys. It's not really that they like bad guys. They just like how the guy carries himself. His shoulders aren't hunched over, he doesn't look anyhow, like he's got confidence, he's got that Idris Elba walk, he's got, so those are the I'm getting far with this, but I hope you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say. But past the Idris Elba walk, does he put a smile on your face? Do you understand? Does he make you laugh? Does he understand your own jokes? Do you guys have any other common interest aside from we both look good? Okay, so looks are good, but there's more. Okay, let me actually because let's talk about that good girl liking bad guys thing and guys liking the bad bees very briefly before I have to stop here on PRZ FM on This Girl Vets 109.2. Okay, what is alluring about bad boys? As somebody that has treaded in that part before, I'd like to tell you that, like I said, everything is about presentation and expression. When you see someone, even like, guys, if you're looking at women, when you see someone that carries themselves in a particular type of way, and it strikes you, you know, it's different, it stands out, you find yourself being or becoming interested in what makes them feel like they can do that. I want to know more. And these are the things. But it just so happens that the guys that some of the guys that have that air about them, they may be into dubious things, maybe some illegal things, fine. But there are like businessmen or whoever, other guys who also carry themselves with a flare of confidence, not arrogance. Arrogance is ugly. Yeah, and I said it, arrogance is ugly. I don't like it. There are guys who carry themselves with confidence who are not into illegal dealings or whatever the case may be. You just really have to, you know, like separate the wheat from the chaff. Like you have to look deep and work out for yourself. But there is such a thing like about what pulls people in. Confidence is something that is so attractive, and it's to all sexes. It's not just forget relationships now. Confidence is very attractive. When you see someone that carries themselves with they have a great understanding about themselves. They know why they're saying what they're saying. They know why they're standing the way they're standing, the way they walk, the way they speak to you, the way they look at you when they speak to you. All these kind of things registers in the human mind. We're naturally very observant beings. So when you see that, you're drawn to that person naturally. This is not even on a romantic level. This is just platonic. This is just, it could even be business wise. You want to go with the company that, you know, sounds like they're actually doing something that they are very certain about. Imagine you go get, you know, surgery done, and you know the doctor's about to, I don't know, cut you, and then his hands start shaking, and then he says, I'm not too sure, mate. I don't know. The first thing you do is, okay, doc, don't worry, move away, just step back slowly. You'll panic because we are not naturally attracted to fear like that, in that kind of way. We don't want it. We want confidence. You know, when someone, you know, tells you like, okay, don't worry, or the doctor says to you, all right, this is what we're going to be doing, I'm going to do this and do that, and he sounds like he knows what he's been, then he even adds years, like, yeah, I've been doing this for 15 plus years now. Then you're like, yeah, I trust this guy. That's because he sounds like he knows what he's doing. He carries himself as someone who knows what he's doing. Confidence is very attractive. And sometimes, forget the physical, that's probably what attracts us to guys or girls or whatever the case may be. That thing, that air, that vibe, that's what it is. They have a particular aura, there's a particular light, or there's a particular spark about them that just pulls you in. And for me, I think that's why that bad boy thing happens, because they know they're making lots of money, so they carry themselves with a particular type of air, and girls are like, oh, I like the way he's wearing all black or whatever. So, you know, it's just like that. But guys, to end, I've been sold after watching Nollywood. I've been sold. I am now a full-fledged member of Looks. But I am not a full-fledged member of Looks over personality. I'm a full-fledged member of Looks leading to personality, and personality check. Okay, so just because you have looks doesn't mean you're winning. Okay, dimples, fresh face, or, you know, white teeth, that's great, but if your personality stinks, then you stink. So that was very harsh, but you guys know how I am already. Okay, this is This Girl Vents. I think I have vented. This girl has vented today. So guys, catch me next time. I'm going to be your host again, of course. I'm already missing you guys already, but I'm very happy about this little discussion. Thank you for winning me over, Nollywood. Respect to the Nigerian film industry. But please, guys, don't forget, okay? Looks, then personality. Or if you've known a person for a long time, then it's just personality. You know what I mean? But guys, please don't let looks becloud your judgment of the person's character or their personality. There's more to a person.